It was a cold, crisp morning, and I wanted something warm and comforting for breakfast today. I had a bunch of berries in the fridge, so I decided to make some baked oatmeal. I began compiling my favorite flavors. You can grab a screenshot of that recipe now. So I gave the berries a quick rinse. Decided to go with a non-dairy milk and some toasted walnut oil. You should try that flavor if you haven't. I used my homemade vanilla extract and, of course, some of my backyard honey and fresh eggs. I whisked it all together and then started with the dry ingredients. I used oats, walnuts, baking powder for a little rise, my favorite spices, and a super seed mix that was high in omega-3 fatty acids. And I used that lovely walnut oil to grease the dish and mixed everything, topped it with some more walnuts, patted everything down, and into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 to 40 minutes. Add a drizzle of honey and cream cheese blended with lemon zest, my vanilla extract, and even more honey. Such sweet bliss. Got something going on with the honeybees. It's about 55 degrees today, so they are out and about. Pardon the squeaky shoe. Make sure everybody's okay. Good. Pretty good. This is where the ruckus is. It doesn't look like robbing. My guess is, I don't know if there's fighting going on down here or if it looks like a waggle dance, like maybe there's some trees in bloom nearby. We are getting a greenhouse this year. I hope everything works out okay. It's a dream come true for me. But I have lots of other things to think about right now too. Oh, this is the busiest time of year. I was looking forward to starting seeds soon. I really wanted some fresh lettuce. Want to grow them from seed, you have to start pretty early on these. Coconut coir in compressed bricks, and then I rehydrate that. And so these are the lettuces that I'll be doing this time. And so I'm sure you figured out this is my favorite time of year. And so I'll set the timer. I usually do about 12-hour days, and we will watch it grow. Crazy storm front came in. Lots of wind. It started to get a little bit warmer. Tapping a few trees today. That just gives me a guide that I can use. And here's a closer look at one of the spiles. So let's just do it. And you just want to go at a slight angle. Oh, there it is. You can see the sap coming out. You just take your spile and you give it a tap, tap, tap. And then you simply insert the hose into the bucket, and you can see it's already starting to drip. Brick or a rock on it, just to make sure that everything stays put if it gets a little too windy. Sap is flowing. That's what we want to hear. So here we are just 5 days after sowing all of these lettuce seeds. And so you can see they're already up. Some of them are even an inch tall. Now this is also at the point to which experts recommend thinning out your plants, right? To prevent competition for nutrients and light, air, space, and all of that. But what I like to do, because one, I'm pretty frugal, I like to eliminate the waste in my life, right? I could simply eat these like a little microgreen. But what I like to do is transplant them. And so that's what I've got set up here. I'm gonna do a little transplanting and slowly tease some of these apart and end up with 2 trays of seedlings instead of just 1. So here we go. I guess probably the most important thing is to don't leave the roots exposed for very long. And then be sure to water it quickly as soon as you're done with each cell pack. And some of these probably won't make it, and that's okay, we've got plenty. I didn't have a lot of time tonight, but that didn't mean I couldn't make an easy, simple, and delicious meal in less than 20 minutes. So I browned some ground beef, set that aside, and sliced a head of cabbage and into the pan to caramelize. Added my favorite seasoning, and then popped off the top of my favorite salsas from the summer. Some fire-roasted salsa verde, some hot and spicy heirloom habanero salsa, and a sweet and tangy red pepper spread. You could easily substitute with about 2 cups of your favorite salsa or sauce. Added the beef back in, gave everything a stir, and that was it. It couldn't be simpler. Now you could eat this as is, like I did, or serve it over rice, potatoes, noodles. The possibilities are endless. And add stock to leftovers, makes the perfect soup. This is so satisfying. So this is about a week after sowing the seeds. Pretty amazing how quickly they grow. I've got them on a 12-hour light cycle. In the mix, you can see these guys are getting their first true leaves. All right. So these are the cotyledons. They will eventually yellow and shrivel and fall off. And then you will see more leaves emerge from the center of the plant. It felt like summer today. I was cooking some chicken on the grill and decided to make deviled eggs. Now, fresh eggs are notoriously hard to peel. My secret involves cooling them just a bit and then shaking them in the pan. Then I let them cool completely in ice water before peeling. The secret is to allow water to get in between the shell and the egg itself, and they just slip right off. Then I decided to make some fresh mayo. I use the same ingredients in my mayonnaise as I do the deviled eggs, and so it was a perfect addition. It doesn't take long at all, and it's so easy. You just add all the ingredients to a jar, put your immersion blender down at the bottom, and slowly pull up. It's important to keep the wand submerged, otherwise you can make a big mess. And simply store it in the fridge. It should last about a week or so. Thick and creamy. And next, just slice the eggs in half, removing all of the yolks. Add the remaining ingredients. I tend to add a little less in the beginning, taste it, and add more if necessary. Then blend everything up. Sometimes I get fancy with a piping bag, but today, and as most days, I just use a little cookie scoop. This just screams summer. This was such a nice day, I felt like grilling some chicken. I just seasoned simply with salt and pepper, nothing fancy tonight. And I enjoyed the scenery while the grill was heating up. I like to grill it over a high flame at first, get it charred up real nicely. Then I'll turn the heat down low. And I like to move everything to the middle. And then I'll just turn that central burner off, put over indirect heat till it's done. And I didn't want to waste those flames, so I decided to make some baked beans. Pure sunshine. What a great day. Sunrise was pretty spectacular this morning. I think the chickens knew it was going to be a nice day. They're ready to get out. It was a freakishly beautiful day for February. It was almost 70 degrees today. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a blur. We had to say goodbye to our old mama kitty. But life must go on, and today is a new day. I had leftover chicken and deviled eggs. Then I made bacon for breakfast. And that equals a Cobb salad. This is my go-to dressing. It's just lemon juice, mustard, honey, and olive oil. Little seasoning, I shake it up, and it's good to go. It's the perfect way to end this day. Maple sap becomes syrup at about 7 degrees over the temperature of boiling water. 219 is what I'm shooting for, but once sap reaches 216 degrees, it should be filtered through one of these lightweight filters. And so that removes this cloudy material called sugar sand. And bringing in white pollen. Oh, the willows must be in bloom. Good for the bees. Though that doesn't bode well for my maple trees. They're probably going to bud up soon, which means that's the end of the sap. Let's collect some more sap. Hey there, big guy. I'm not gonna mess with you girls. Yeah, I see flowers up there. Today's the day. It's getting a little thicker, so I know the time is getting close. All right, it's go time. I just made some maple syrup. I had a couple of butter baby butternut squash left over from last year's garden. So I drizzled on some pumpkin seed oil and my favorite spices. And then I baked it until tender. Now, I thought pears would go well with this. Next, I cracked some fresh eggs, poured in a little milk, and added some of that lovely maple syrup. A little homemade vanilla extract, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, but you could easily use pumpkin pie spice. Gave it all a whirl. Then I diced up a few slices of hearty multigrain bread. You guessed it, I'm making bread pudding. I let the baking dish cool down just a little bit while I assembled the rest of the ingredients. Then I poured in the egg mixture, stirred everything together. Another final drizzle of that maple syrup and some more pecans. And it took about 45 minutes to bake, but it was so worth it. Nothing like a meal from the backyard. It rained most of the night. It's pretty mild, in the 50s. And the next day was incredible. 74 degrees was the forecast, and I do think we hit it. It was so nice I thought I would take the seedlings outside, get a little sun and fresh air. But I thought I'd give them a shot of fertilizer first, since they needed watered anyway. Everything's looking really good. It's partly cloudy, so these guys should be okay. I just have to make sure they don't get too much sun, so I'll keep an eye on them. It's hard to believe. It's the end of February, and I'm out here barefoot. I am not complaining. I am itching to get in this garden. It needs cleaned up so bad. So, let's get after it. I always leave this plant debris standing over the winter. That way wildlife can forage through for seeds or use the material for nesting. So when I come across seed heads that obviously have plenty of seeds in them, like this penstemon here, you can hear them rattle, I will often just either collect them, save them, or just sprinkle them in the area if I want them to spread. Most things I do, the native plants. So usually what I do with these stems is I will just put them in a big pile somewhere out of sight, and experts recommend to leave everything standing until the temperatures get above 50, but I want my garden clean before then, so I just leave the stems in a pile, and that way if an insect has burrowed in or laid eggs, then it has time to emerge. Now these Joe Pye weed stems are hollow. I am going to be doing a native bee hut project this year, so I'm saving all the hollow stems. I'm going to leave these in place until I get ready for that project. I have a stash of them over near the garden that I'm going to be working with. There, that looks so much better. So I still leave a lot of debris on the ground. I'm not worried too much about it. Most of these plantings in here are native plants, and so this is just more organic matter to add. So, and then within about a month probably, the plants are going to get so tall you won't even notice this back here. So essentially it just acts like a natural forest floor mulch and breaks down. Anyway, makes me feel better. It feels good to get out here. 70 degrees is just lovely. Hello, Lucy. I don't have anything for you. It's literally been a whirlwind. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoy the video.